When the state rolled out a new $93 million vehicle licensing and registration system last summer called MNLARS, it immediately backfired. There were long lines, it took months to get plates, car dealers couldn't sell inventory, and now the Dayton administration says the new computer system, which was 8 years in the making, needs a huge $43 million fix. But more surprising are the secret recordings given to the Fox 9 investigators. They show the governor's office was notified 3 years ago that the project was headed for a cliff. MNLARS determines what you'll pay for new license tabs.
It's ridiculous, is what it is.
And how much tax is owed on the sale of a car.
It is a man-made disaster.
It replaced a 35-year-old system for licensing and registering all things on wheels.
The stress level that everyone dealing with this has just been off the roof.
With $1 billion of revenue to collect every year, it's critical for MNLARS to get the numbers right.
There's so many things wrong with it.
But millions of records that were transferred from the old computer system to the new one may not have accurate information about the vehicles and their owners.
I would say 8 out of 10 don't.
8 out of 10?
There's something wrong. Yep.
Deputy Registrar Gay Smith did a little experiment and used MNLARS to calculate the tax on 5,000 new, same-model SUVs. She discovered a system flaw that's likely costing the state millions in lost revenue.
In the first year alone, we lost $1 million plus.
Just on those 5,000 vehicles?
Just on those 5,000 vehicles.
The state says it currently has some 16,000 revenue discrepancies under review. Turns out MNLARS also can't process the transfer of personalized plates from one car to another.
All I know is it was really terrifying for me, terrifying.
Dawn Morningstar was busted by police.
They came up and they said hands on dash.
Because they thought she was driving a stolen car. Actually, her plates had just been moved from an old lease to a new one.
It makes me wonder why this wasn't planned out better.
And now the Dayton administration wants another $43 million of your tax dollars to fix all of the problems. It's not a surprise to this man.
It was off the wheels at the time I was working there as of June 2015. And
Bob Helland was a MNLARS business process analyst. He's one of several insiders, including some with critical roles, who spoke with the Fox 9 investigators about what was going on behind the scenes. Picture the beginning of this project like an old car in need of a total rebuild. In 2012, DVS, the state's Driver and Vehicle Services Division, first hired Hewlett-Packard to overhaul its antiquated computer system. By 2014, an audit showed the project was misfiring from a culture of distrust and negative undercurrent. After spending $16 million, DVS slammed the door on HP and brought in Minute, the state's information technology department, to look under the hood. Minute gave some of the development work to its own state employees who make about $50 an hour. But it also hired 4 times as many outside consultants and paid some of them over $300 an hour. A former manager told us some of the rates were outrageous, irresponsible spending of taxpayer dollars.
it was important for me to let them know the severity of the problems that I saw.
Helland and other insiders say some consultants were given too much authority to run things, creating a potential conflict of interest to create more work for themselves. They say people in key decision-making roles didn't understand the business of licensing and registration. Plans to test and catch software defects were woefully inadequate. They say they warned both DVS and Minute Management the project was in danger of becoming a public and political spectacle.
Hey, someone really needs to look at MNLARS.
Helland says his concerns fell on deaf ears. So in March of 2015, he went straight to the governor's office.
I'm here to see Jamie.
He met with Jamie Tincher, the governor's chief of staff at the time.
There's very little confidence in DVS management.
He secretly recorded their nearly hour-long conversation.
This was just kind of a last straw to me to say that there's no truth in the public about this project, and we don't have any truth internally, so I felt compelled to let you guys know.
Tincher seems interested in what Helland has to say.
I would like to look into this. I want to do some outreach.
She says she's going to talk with Tom Baden, the commissioner of Minute.
So I'd kind of like to get a sense from him and just ask him to really dig in and come back to us with, what does he think is going on, what is happening there, and try to dig into that.
Baden, who this month took early retirement, tells the Fox 9 investigators he does not remember ever getting a call from Tincher about this.
To the best of my recollection, I did not have that conversation.
Tincher, who now serves as deputy mayor of St. Paul, told us she can't recall ever meeting with Bob Helland or what they discussed. And a spokesman for Governor Dayton says the governor doesn't remember anybody on his staff bringing Helland's concerns to his attention back in 2015. After MNLARS' tumultuous rollout last summer, Dayton was quick to say things weren't as bad as critics were making it sound.
Once again, Republican legislators are just delighted to jump on something if they think they can do damage to the credibility of state government, especially with a Democratic governor.
Then came a series of legislative hearings in the fall and this winter to get to the bottom of what went wrong.
They didn't seek input from stakeholders, from people who use the system.
In a statement to the Fox 9 investigators, Minute acknowledges many individuals voiced their concerns about this project, and we regret that they feel they went unheard.
Had I known what I know now, I wouldn't have released it at the time.
But it's what former Minute Commissioner Baden said in November, when there were no cameras around, that stunned State Representative Jim Nash.
Did someone along the line know that this was not ready to go live and yet said, go live? And he took a pause and he said, yes.
Nash says Baden told him that Paul Meekin, the manager in charge of MNLARS, knew that it wasn't ready, but advocated for it to go live anyway. Baden hedged when we asked him about it. Is he giving me an honest recollection of what was said?
I have no reason to doubt Representative Nash is an honorable guy, but I don't recall making that statement.
Could you have made it?
Possibly. We were having a pretty open and candid conversation.
Paul Meekin is currently on leave.
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about MNLARS.
We told Meekin about the conversation between Nash and Baden, and that allegations had been made that he approved the release of MNLARS, knowing it wasn't ready.
I think you should talk to communications, and we can talk through them.
Okay.
I'm an employee of the state. You understand, right?
Yeah.
If I spoke to you without talking to them, I'd get fired instantly.
Okay.
So we contacted Minute Communications. They did not address our question about Meekin's role in the decision to go live with MNLARS, but they did say the system was released too early without all the features needed by our stakeholders.
The road ahead is not going to be easy.
The state agencies responsible for this massive project admit leadership did not pay attention to staff who tried to blow the whistle on the problems.
We're not really listened to, and they were disregarded.
Bob Helland says DVS, Minute, the governor's office, and the legislature all had reason to know MNLARS was headed for mayhem.
They all have a part to play in this, and they've all fallen asleep on the job, really.
I'm Fox 9 investigator Jeff Ballion.
The legislature is back in session on Tuesday, and that extra funding for MNLARS is going to be one of the first things on the agenda for lawmakers. And some are saying it's not by any means a done deal.